All right, chat, you know what time it is. It's time to build a ban list. It's almost August, almost the end of August. I want to give us a little bit of a potential prediction score in relation to what we think is going to get banned, what's going to come back, what's going to come off. Maxi to 1? Absolutely not. People having shit ban list takes? Absolutely yes. Everyone is dog shit at coming up with ban list opinions, except for me, because I'm the fucking best. I'm just goated. I'm nasty when it comes to ban list predictions. I'm like Nosferatu. Anyways, I want to talk about some cards that I think will get banned. I want to talk about some cards that I think won't get banned. And I want to talk about what I think will go to 2, which is like maybe 1 card. All right, banned cards. I think Original Sinful Spoils is getting banned. This card is so fucking good. This card just does so goddamn much. This card is a Stratos with Beatrice. This card is an extender. This card just does literally, there is no set of words that you could describe OSS as. This does literally everything. And I think that taking away OSS from this deck not only cuts into its extension plays because you're not able to like play Diabell Star with like a real payoff, and it makes your Poplar like a little bit worse because you aren't able to just get like a free like, haha, we're gonna do the thing now. But I think that even though Original is technically able to be played in other decks like Fire King or Rescue Ace, I guess, if you're one of those people, it's just too good. Like, this is just a card that has never been fair. This is just a card that has always been abusable in like every human capacity. It can be recycled, so even if you like SP banish it, it just doesn't matter. I think that OSS needs to go to hell. Next up, we're looking at Shifter. And this card, let's be real chat, it's been nice and it's gonna stay nicer. I don't think Shifter's getting hit. I think that Shifter is one of those cards that is very, very specific in what it does. I've said this before in other videos, but Konami has a very specific ideology when it comes to non-engine floodgate goofy cards that they keep. And it's that cards that are extremely generic, they do not like. When it comes to cards you can basically just slot into anything. Think of like Rivalry, Gozen, Tikaboo, Skill Drain, Summon Limit, Anti-Spell. Those, Imperial Order, those sort of cards are just very, very unfair in what they are trying to promote, as well as the fact that basically any deck can play them. Like, there was a reason Snake Eye was playing Summon Limit, and now they're playing Skill Drain, and blah, 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 blah. However, cards like Dimension Shifter have to be played in very specific decks, because, again, if you're playing Shifter, you have to literally give up your graveyard. You are choosing to play a deck without a graveyard, and Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Graveyard, second hand, you guys get the idea. So, with that sort of ideology in mind, as well as the fact that Shifter hasn't been banned yet, considering fucking tier limit format, I think that Shifter's unfortunately gonna have to stay for another format. It's a little unhealthy, it's a little cringe, but I do think that Shifter is very much one of those cards that's not gonna get banned, and people are going to just whine about this for the rest of human history. Next up, we've got Albion. Who likes floodgates? I love gimmick puppets. I love whatever. Let's be real, this card is so cringe. There has never been a single thing that this card has done healthy in any capacity. Like, Albion unfortunately is just like one of those cards that's like, yeah, if there's ever like a broken card we could summon off of it, this deck is always going to be relevant for like all the wrong reasons. And even if we can't gimmick puppet lock people, we're still going to summon like Albaz, and like, you know, Super Poly is still pretty good. My hair looks blue. Oh, because like the light's reflecting off it. That's kind of cool actually. What if I got a blue streak, chat? It's like my hair's dyed. It's like I'm an anime character. They really reprinted Expulsion as a monster for no reason. Can't even impermit, by the way. Can't impermit, can't Dark Ruler it. It's just like, oh, good. Summon the guy. Oh, you lose the game. Oh, unlucky. Again, ban the Halkafire Brax, not the tuners. Type ass argument. Keep Albion banned. Goodbye forever. Let's talk about another card. Pot of Prosperity. This card is basically in like every single deck. This card is basically in a deck, every single deck that's not named Snake Eyes, just because of how accessible it is and the fact that Snake Eye literally needs like 25 cards in that extra deck in order for it to be, you know, actually like full god mode. But I think the Pot of Prosperity is a little too broken. This is, again, one of those cards that's just way too generic. It's way too high of a payoff. This card just says like filter 6 cards out of your deck, and it's not like you can only grab starters. It's just like, yeah, fucking add triple tax, see what happens. I think that with the way Konami has done consistency hits in the past when it comes to pots, especially looking at Pot of Desires, I think that Pot of Prosperity is realistically gonna go to 1 this list. Like Tenpai is just seeing an obscene amount of play and is able to abuse Pot of Prosperity. A bunch of rogue and like mid-range decks are able to play it. I just think that Pot of Prosperity, like, it's its time to go. I'm sorry, Pros, but you were just a little too sick nasty at finding fucking any card ever. Apollo USA. I'd like to call this card like the indicator of what like modern combo looks like. We kind of had an idea of like what it looked like in the past in regards to, you know, being able to set up like, I don't know, pendulum monsters or like a bunch of fusions under like a decode talker, you know, that sort of deal. But Appaloosa is like definitely the first and foremost thing we think of when it comes to extra deck payoffs. And Apollo USA is just a floodgate. Let's be fucking real. Against certain decks, they just cannot do anything to this fucking card. It is so disgustingly broken when you're able to make it like 3 or 4 materials so that your opponent can't even beat over it efficiently. This is just like a very powerful card. Like whenever there's a deck that's able to link spam, and especially in this format right now, Apollo is just gonna be at that centerfold of it. And like just some decks are going to be completely invalidated because they just can't beat Appaloosa. That's one of the big reasons why Tenpai deck lists are playing so many board breakers now. Because like, sure, you can like triple hand trap someone, but sometimes even that's not enough because they can still end up like Desiree, maybe make like a 3 material Appaloosa or something. Like it's still going to be extremely frustrating and you're just like, your Hydra is just not going to do shit. But, you know, if you fucking Dark Hole Appaloosa, you know, no protection, unless you're under IP. But you know, so Apollo, gonna go to 0. I think that this format has definitely beaten into people how frustrating this card is to play against. All right, we've got like the most obvious ban in the books. This shit is not lasting another format. You're gonna have to make a very strong reason for me to be like, why is Beatrice not gonna be banned? Like, this card is completely generic. You can play it in the Fiendsmith, and this card just says Foolish Burial, literally anything. I know, like, you can no longer do, like, the Beatrice to send, like, OSS and, like, return the OSS to, you know, make, like, the Beatrice line and search, like, Ash and then just, like, hit the gritty. But the main problem of Beatrice is that it's just way too generic in what it does. And it's a quick effect. Why is it a quick effect? Why can you do it during your opponent's turn? Why can Beatrice send Scattershot and burn in time? Why is Appaloosa banned? Because that card's fucking broken, that's why. Just, like, the main reason why Beatrice is just so bananas. Any time a deck list not named Burning Abyss has been playing Beatrice, something unfair has been going on. I think like the easiest example you could give of this, where during like tier limits format, you were like overlaying Malicious in order to like make Beatrice, and you could just like send any fucking name or Miller or Shuffler. It was just so frustrating. Oh my god, especially with the Bestials. Holy hell. That shit was actually just like Mental Shadow Realm. Beatrice is easy to fix as making it say level 2, level 6 Burning Abyss monsters than Mysterio. I don't like the idea of giving cards erratas because I feel like it kind of just takes away from the spirit of the card. Like, you could say like, oh, just like errata Beatrice, so like you can only use BAs as material. You could like make Appaloosa a once per turn, or you could make Albion only summon like branded monsters or something like that. But the issue is, I feel like it's just no longer the same card. It's no longer the annoying broken piece of shit that it is that people can experiment with. It's just forever gonna be this like hollow shell of a card that people are gonna forget. Like, think of like Firewall Dragon, where it was just one of the most disgusting overtuned cards to ever do it, and now it's just like the most worthless card in existence. Like, no one's playing Cybers, no one's playing like Salamangreat with fucking Firewall as a payoff. I just feel like eroding cards doesn't help the card, it just creates a new version of it that can never ever fulfill what it was once able to do. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Goyo Guardian, bro. My greatest soldier. Let's talk about Skill Drain. Skill Drain is basically just summon limit 2 and 3. This card, let's be fucking real. Like, although it was kind of intended to be like this card that only like stun decks could play, and you know, like other decks just couldn't really get around it, or blah blah blah. Unfortunately, Skill Drain just turned out to be like the 5th best version of like a card you could play in Snake Eye. And guess what? still ended up being good enough. Do I think this card's gonna get banned? Honestly, probably. This card has like way too much incidental synergy with cards like the Fiendsmiths and the Snake Eyes, and like even like with Joshua Schmidt's success, people are going to be playing like Skill Drain in White Forest because you could just use your White Child from hand in order to send the Skill Drain as cost, and like suddenly you're no longer under Skill Drain anymore. That sort of deal, you know what I mean? Dark Ruler, no more possibly? No. So yeah, I don't think Skill Drain is long for this world. Sell your QCR copies now, chat. Flamberge. Alright, chat, let's be fucking real. Is this card getting banned? Or is this card going to 3? Because we all know fucking 2 or 1 literally doesn't change anything. I think this card is gonna get banned. Flamberge is such a ridiculous card. This card is removal, it is a payoff, it is hand trap insulation, it is a way for you to beat cards like Dark Ruler no more, it is recursion, it is literally everything. I think that the Snake Eye engine is fine. I think that if you want to play like Poplar into Field Spell into like whatever into like Snake Idea Bell, like that shit's all fine. Like who really cares? But if the payoffs are just so uninteractable or so negative for you to interact with that you might as well just like look at your Nibiru and think it's a dead fucking card, then maybe these cards existing just isn't a good thing. You know what I mean? Like maybe Flamberge shouldn't exist. Maybe OSS shouldn't exist. Like, you can nuke the Snake Eye board, but guess what? They're just gonna send Field Spell with OSS. You can Nibiru the Snake Eye board, but they're just gonna Flamberge float, and then they're gonna do some dicking around with like Underworld Goddess and shit like that. Like, Flamberge is just such a disgustingly problematic card, both going first as a combo setup tool as well as going second, where you're able to, you know, like scale your opponent's monsters, get rid of like a Nibiru, and you know, just be able to like OTK under like Princess, because Princess is fucking everywhere. That's where I think that Flamberge kind of needs to bite the axe on it. I don't think Princess is gonna be a banned. I'm just gonna imagine like an Unlimited right now, there's a big Disney Princess. And I think that's because Princess does see enough play in other decks that I don't think that she does need to be banned. And I think that Princess probably should be allowed to, I think that Princess should be allowed to maybe stick around for a little bit longer, and if she's doing like generally fair stuff, you know, think of like fucking Amplo Whale shit, like sure, who gives a shit? But when it comes to Flamberge, whose identity is solely tied into Snake Eyes and is just the most ridiculous fucking boss monster payoff slash extender of all time, that's where I think things have gone a little bit too far. Alright, can't be a ban list without a little bit of Tenpai hitting. We're gonna talk about Gan Summoning. This card, pretty good. It's a little too good, arguably. It offers you a very specific type of protection, which just says your opponent can't do anything, have fun. But it is the most telegraphed card to ever do it. Like half the time, like as soon as you activate Gan Summoning, your opponent's just like, fuck it, IP, SP, go! And you're just like, okay, well, I guess my opponent did something, and now I'm kind of sad. But the main issue with Gan Summoning is that, like, sometimes if your opponent bricks, or your opponent has like a hand that loses like 1 hand traps, and they're like looking at their hand of 3, of like Ash, Imperm, Nibiru, and they're just like, yeah, it's fine. Like, Snake Eye sucks. They're not gonna be able to do anything. And then you just like activate the Field Spell. Like, your opponent wants to fucking shoot themselves, you know what I mean? There's like literally nothing your opponent can do from that point onwards. Because like your Field Spell's gonna search like Chandra and do like the Chandra OTK or go to Pydra into Kaiman type deal. It is a very frustrating position to be in when you're playing against Tenpai, because Tenpai is even more of a better habit deck than like Voiceless or Ritual Beast. That being said, I think Konami does want to hit summoning in some capacity, and they probably will hit summoning because, again, this is a common Konami likes banning their cheap cards. I don't think it's gonna get limited, but I think it's gonna get semi-limited. I don't know why. I just have a feeling in my soul, you know? It's my ancient Chinese prophecy saying that there is danger within this tea. If I put it at limited, it will come back and haunt me. But if I arrange my feng shui in a certain manner, then my household will be blessed and poggers. But Stevie, ain't you Chinese? How about you shut up? How about you don't ask questions? Semi-limited? It's at 1 of the OCG, dude, come on. Hey man, I never said that the OCG made good banlist decisions. Have you seen that shit? All right, King Calamity. Centurion payoff, Whitewood payoff, Blue Eyes payoff now, because why the fuck not? Is this card gonna be good? I think that although this card is very, very strong, and it's very, very capable at setting up disgusting endboards, I don't know is actually good enough to be able to be put onto a ban list. Because when you look at like the historic trend of hot red decks just haven't done well. Like, this is a very, very, very unfair card, but it's tied to very, very, very inconsistent decks when it comes to long tournament results. Like, unfortunately, like, Manadium, when it was playing Calamity, just decided we're gonna cut this card because it's just not good enough, and the setup combo is way too inconsistent. Centurion is like an okay deck that's able to make this as its primary game plan, but unfortunately, that deck loses to like way too much in terms of interaction or board breakers or etc. Just because a deck slash card isn't good, if it's promoting very toxic gameplay like Calamity does, I see zero reason for that card to be legal. You're not wrong. You're like objectively correct because like, I mean, it's not like Branded is like tearing up the metagame, but we still are banning Albion because it promotes a very unfair play pattern. But the issue is that like Albion slash Branded Despia is a deck that actually has metagame contention, and like Hot Red isn't. Like, for better or for worse, the archetypes that Hot Red is tied to, Hot Red just doesn't do anything. I don't think they're gonna ban this card. I'd like it banned, but realistically, why would you ban a card which has like very, very, very little metagame representation? Where at least with something like Branded, like we all saw that one feature match versus Jess and the Branded guy, where Jess lost the dice roll. Oh look, here's Albion, gimmick puppet. Oh look, here's Albion, gimmick puppet. Additionally, Calamity is kind of interactable. You can actually kind of interactive Calamity, and it's in a weird, fucked up sense. Like, Centurion still does have to make like its little weird, silly combo where they have to make like Crimson Dragon on their turn. And if you get like impermed at like any point, or you get dropleted, or you get like Bestialed at any point, like your whole combo just doesn't do anything. Let's take a look at D-Barrier. D-Barrier is definitely not a fair card. This card is so fucking stupid. You flip this versus Tenpai, they lose the game. You flip this versus Voiceless Voice, you call Ritual, they lose the game. You flip this versus like 80% of decks, that's not exactly Snake Eye, like they will just lose the game on the spot because guess what? Can't summon XD. And guess what? Red Reed was limited, so you don't get to have any counterplay. Better play like a side frame, I don't know. But, I know this sounds weird. Do we need to ban a side deck card? I have mixed feelings about D-Barrier. It is so incredibly fucking stupid that sometimes you'll just lose the game because opponents said haha D-Barrier XD and then they OTK you. But I think that at the same time, D-Barrier is still like a Saki side deck card. Like, if Beatrice does end up banned, we're not going to be able to do the Angel of Blue Tears combo into set like D-Barrier from deck. Like, objectively, this card should be banned. But are they actually going to ban it? Is Konami actually going to ban D-Barrier though? I don't think so. Realistically, I'm sorry. I just don't think Konami is gonna ban D-Barrier. Heavy Storm to 1? Yeah. People are gonna say, like, oh no, people are gonna play Unchained. Ooh, my Metal Foes monsters. My Metal Foes counter. It's gonna trigger back chest. Like, no, who cares? If you're living in the universe where like you're heavy storming yourself, bro, I'm sorry, but you are on the strongest crack cocaine ever known to man. Like, it just ain't worth it. It's not good. Boo-boo. We have Lightning Storm already. Give me Storm so I can trigger toy cards with it. Whatever it takes, dude. Have you read Magician Souls, dude? Summon Sork to 1 because of the errata, or is it staying banned? We don't know if the errata. Fiendswift is new. They have to do something about it. Lurdy is the answer. The actual answer is to play, is to ban Fiendswift Desiree. Like, this is the actual problem with Fiendswift. I don't give a shit about anything else. Just fucking ban this guy. This guy's like the fucking turbo shitter. Fuck this dude. Why is he removal? Why does he remove cards? Why does he get to play under Typhon by being 2800 attack? This shit is so dumb. Engraver to 2, take it or leave it. I'll take Tracked to 1. How about that? Like, Fiendswift is just so new that they're probably never gonna hit anything out of it. Just because it literally just came out and it's made them like $1 bajillion. Guess what? When Yu-Gi-Oh players say like, oh, I'm gonna boycott the game, I'm gonna quit playing Yu-Gi-Oh and immediately never play again. Guess what? They immediately hop on Twitter 2 minutes later, being like, OMG besties, I'm back on Master Duel. Like, Jesus Christ. You wanna know who like the exact definition of that is? Yeah, Scarlet saying like, yeah, I quit Yu-Gi-Oh! This ban list validates me that this game is never improving. And then like 5 minutes later, no, you can't drag me back in. I can't do this. I'm not strong enough to resist this. And then immediately starts playing. I'm like, awesome, bro. Like, good to know that duelists have the fucking will of Swiss cheese. Don't do Scarlet dirty like this. She does it to herself. Have you seen her tweets? Sorry, homunculus Lily. I've gotta mute you. Y'all talk too much. Yu-Gi-Oh players likely have similar addiction levels to that of some hardcore drug users. There's like this saying in like the alcoholics community where like when you become an alcoholic and like you go through like rehab and like you quit or whatever, it's never like the idea is like you never stopped being an alcoholic. You've just been sober for a while. You're forever an alcoholic, you know what I mean? I plead not guilty for yapping, Your Honor. Your Honor, you weren't even fucking there, so shut your mouth. Like, I realistically don't think there's like anything else to ban. Like, if we just, there's like nothing else to, like, I realistically don't think that Konami's gonna go like that crazy. Like, this looks like the most bare bones list that Konami could bring out that might keep the game alive for like 5 more minutes. It's just a very, very frustrating, you know, ban list to look at. I'm so dedicated to gambling, I wake up shaking to play it every day. That's me. But yeah, I think this is realistically my ban list prediction. I don't think Konami's gonna have like a super heavy ban list in terms of like bringing 50 cards back or like banning 80 cards. But I do think that like Konami is going to be hitting the problematic stuff at least to like a real degree, because if they don't, I don't know what I'm gonna fucking do. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what your ban list predictions are for Konami. Be a little realistic, and yeah, it's gonna be it for this video.